Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gianna. I'm a para equestrian and show jumper. I show jump my two horses and I try to use my platform to the best of my ability to further inspire others. Everybody has a story. I firmly believe that. So this is my third week of doing Embracing Beauty, a series on my YouTube channel that you're watching now. I had the pleasure of interviewing Ella May. She is my baby on Instagram. The reason why I wanted to interview her is because she manages such a hectic schedule, all to provide for her horses. I thought that it would be a great idea to share her story, to let others know that anything is possible in terms of if you do want to go out and buy a horse and your parents say no, or if your parents say we don't have the fund, you can go out and provide for yourself, to get a job and to work hard for what you want. And it was just an amazing conversation, and she feels like one of my friends now, and it's just so incredible that we have the opportunity to meet people across the world, which is another thing too. She's from the United Kingdom, so it was cool to kind of set up a time within the time difference and everything. And it was such a pleasure to talk to her. She was so amazing, and she has such a special connection with her horse, and she's super inspiring, and I hope you guys enjoy this. I certainly did. Awesome. Okay, I'm so excited. Thank you for doing this.
I'm so excited too. Sorry, my phone went off. I'll mute that.
To interview someone from the United Kingdom
I know.
is insane, and social media is like incredible when it comes to this.
I know. I just think it's one of those things. It's amazing that, like, if it wasn't for Instagram, we would have no idea that
I
each
know.
other exist.
I
It sounds insane, but yeah, it's just incredible, isn't it? It's such a cool idea, and it's such a cool series. Like, I watched your previous episode you did, and I just think it's wicked. Like, again, it's the whole thing of social media.
Mhm.
Like, I'd never know about these people and their journeys, and I
Yeah.
just think it's fascinating. And I think it's such a good series to have, to be able to watch and hear about other people's stories. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just think it's a great idea.
Thanks. Yeah, I really like it because, you don't have to be the best rider to be perfectly content and happy within what you're doing.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really wanted to ask you, I started following you a little while ago. Um, why did you want to like start vlogging, or why did you, because I mean, I do that sometimes and I love it. And it's just so incredible to have like other people view and follow you on your journey. So,
Yeah, well, I started my Instagram first. I think my YouTube I kind of got into because basically one of my friends used to do it. And I think one of the first times I met up with her in person, it was one of those things, we spoke all the time on Instagram, we FaceTimed, we did everything. And I remember one of the first times I met her in person, she's like, vlog it. And I was like, I've never vlogged before. I was like, I don't know what to do. And it was just one of those things, like the moment I kind of got more comfortable in front of the camera, I was just like, yeah, I want to do this. I was like, I like this. And I think it's nice to have that connection with my audience, because I feel like I'm so transparent on my Instagram with everything that happens. But obviously they're reading a post, and it's not as personal, I think, as when I'm talking to people and explaining what I'm doing, and actually being able to chat with people. And yeah, I just really enjoy it. And I just think it's, and even my Instagram, like, I just love the kind of community that it's brought. Like, I have such a good following that are just so supportive and so kind. And I think I'm really lucky in that sense too, that I do have such a supportive community. Yeah.
like the community coming together and kind of just supporting other people and being drawn to your journey. And you and B are so amazing. Like you bristled up when I said his name, but he is so cute. Um, he he's a thoroughbred, right?
Yeah, he's next racer. No, they are. That's the thing. Like B, obviously in the summer during lockdown when we couldn't really ride as much and all that kind of thing, I was doing a lot of trick training with him, because I've always found it fascinating how like you can teach a horse to do stuff, and it's like a dog in that sense, that it's just, I find it so cool. And it was like his tricks, he was picking them up within an hour, like from start to finish in an hour, he knew it. And I was like, ordinarily those sort of tricks I think would take at least a week, or and it was just like his smile, and it you've probably seen it on my Instagram, he knows how to smile. And he now, whenever he wants a treat or he wants attention, and he used to do it when he'd gallop up to from like, he'd be in the field and he'd gallop to me and he'd be smiling as he's galloping. And it's just the cutest thing ever, and it just, oh, he's just so precious.
I wish my gelding did that. I have to like walk out all the way to get him. He's 23 years old, so he's just like, Mom, leave me alone. But
Oh, bless him. Exactly. And that's the thing with B, like initially when I was looking for a horse, I was like, I want something that, you know, I can aim for 110 show jumping, I can do this, I can event. And, you know, I've had B just under 2 years now. And he came to me in such a sorry state. And it's taken me almost a year for him to come out of his shell and start actually, you know, becoming a horse. As stupid as it sounds, like he was so reserved with everything. Like he would panic at the slightest thing. If he did something wrong, like knock a pole or something that he considered wrong, he'd just panic. And I think, you know, I did a 1-day event in September with him, which was our biggest thing to date. He placed in his first ever one, and he was just incredible. And it's again the whole thing of, you know, I look at what I was expecting and what I've got, and I don't feel disheartened, I don't feel disappointed, because he just outdoes himself every single ride and he tries his absolute hardest. And I think again that's in the thoroughbred brain. I think they just want to try their best for you all the time. And yeah, I just adore him. Like he's just everything. Like you say, I could literally hack him around the block and I'm like, oh yay, I love you.
Yeah, I literally, I've been watching your Vlogmas, which if people from my channel don't really know who you are, you have a vlog channel and you're doing Vlogmas, which means that you post a vlog every day or every other day until Christmas, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he and you are just so incredible. I watched Lily Equestrian's vlog with you, and I messaged you straight away, and I said, he is so fast. Like Lily's horse just like is flying, but you're out of the picture within like 5 seconds.
That's the thing with him. He means no harm. He just doesn't understand that he doesn't have to gallop.
Yeah.
So like I said to Lily, I was like, we'll just go for a really like gentle canter, and if you want, give me a shout and we'll go for a gallop. And just he was like, I must run, and just went. And I was like, oh, sorry, Lily. I kind of like looked behind me in the video and I'm like, oh good, she's still there.
That's the thing about thoroughbreds too, is they have like all this energy and like they'll go and go and go until you tell them not to.
No, that is honestly like B. Like I took him on his first ever drag hunt the other week. And he literally, I thought he'll knacker himself out by the third kind of, you know, bit. He'll be knackered because he won't be able to flat out gallop the whole thing. And boy was I wrong. He went the whole way. He could have gone again. He was so pumped, and I was like, oh my god, no.
You said that B previously, I watched in I think your Q&A video, he broke his pelvis.
Yeah. So when I think it was last summer, I was on holiday, really random, and I was like, you know what? I want to find out all about B. I was like, I'm just gonna have time, you know, because I wasn't doing anything. I was chilling on holiday, and I thought, right, I'm gonna spend the day just digging out as much information, you know, contacting people, everything, because to see what I could find. And because that was the thing, I think the lady I bought him off had bought him from racing, so he had only had 2 homes, including me, outside of racing. And obviously he was 12 when I got him, so he spent the majority of his life in training. So I've kind of contacted people and got a few responses, and I got talking to a guy who had groomed and looked after him whilst he was at one of his racing homes. And yeah, he just kind of like really like kind of just put it into conversation really casually and was like, yeah, you know, when he did his pelvis. And I was like, sorry, what? I was like, he did what? And he's like, oh yeah, you know, I was taking him up the gallops one day, and literally he was like, it was like a gunshot went off, and he just pulled up lame, and they were like, he's done his leg, he's out, like. And obviously I think they were expecting the worst with that, you know, he's gonna have to, you know, say goodbye in that sense. And you know, and I was really, he was lucky that, you know, they decided to rehab him, so they had him for, I think it was 6 weeks box rest, because I think it turned out to be a fracture. I don't think it was a clean break, which I think saved him in that sense, that it wasn't something too complex. But yeah, they basically put him on 6 weeks box rest, and luckily he was at a home where they did put the effort and money back into him. So yeah, he broke his pelvis, which is crazy to think. And yeah, like I say, I didn't know until I had obviously already had him for at least 6 months. And then obviously in my head I'm going, oh my god, what if, you know, he's struggling with jumping, what if it's hurting him, what if, you know. And I just suddenly went into a bit of a overdrive of like, oh my god, what if he's like, you know, he's not happy, he's this, he's that. And you know, I was lucky, the guy was like, no, he made a full recovery, like he's fine, he just, you know. And he went back out racing after, and actually won a race after he had broken his pelvis, which is just insane. But he's such a strong character, like he's just,
Yeah.
I think he is just like mentally the sort of horse that can cope with stuff like that, because I think a lot of thoroughbreds, where they're so high strung, I think a lot of them would have struggled with that, like 6 weeks in a stable and, you know, things like that. But he was so lucky that he managed to kind of keep his cool and go back into training, win a race, and then retire healthy, sound, and now living the life of luxury.
And to think it was only 6 weeks. Like,
I know, that's the thing. I don't know obviously the severity of the break. I literally just know that it happened. But yeah, for it to be a 6 weeks box rest, obviously I don't know how much time after that he had off, but even for that, like, it just, how quickly he heals is ridiculous. Because he's got you probably wouldn't have seen it, but he's got a scar on his bottom on one of his bums, because this is again classic B, he likes to run backwards. When something panics him, he runs backwards. And when he was at one of his racing homes, he ran backwards and impaled himself on a gate. So he has a nice big scar on his bum where he had to be stitched up.
oh my god, are you kidding? Stitches?
No, again, this was the thing, I got him, I'll have to send you a photo of it, but once I again saw the scar, I was like, what's he done there? And no one actually knew what he had done. And this was again, I found when I was digging, and the guy was like, yeah, he was just being an idiot to turn out one morning and impaled himself. And I was like, oh. And then a woman actually sent me, she still had the photo of it before it was stitched up. And I was just looked at him and was like, oh my god, that is horrible. It was just literally a hole it was disgusting. But you know, and it's like, it's so him, he's just funny. Like when I took him to a show last Christmas, he freaked out at an inflatable Santa, as you can imagine. Yeah, I know. And he ran backwards and ran into a fence, like a show jumping wing. And obviously he's then spun and gone, ah!
Oh my god.
But he is hilarious. He's such a character. I love him. I wouldn't change him for the world. He does crack me up.
Is he a clumsy guy? Like,
yeah, he goes between two. He either is overly careful and will launch himself at things to make sure he clears it and make sure he's, you know, doing his job. But then other times he just, yeah, like raised poles. Oh no, we don't do those.
oh my god.
He just cannot get his little feet in the right rhythm. He just doesn't understand them.
Oh
he can do crown poles, but he can't do raised poles. So
he sounds like
hit and miss.
He sounds so much fun to ride.
He is a character. He is so funny.
Your parents said that you couldn't buy a horse until you had the money to buy a horse, right?
Yeah, so I, as most people I think, begged my parents for a horse my whole life. I was just like, please, every Christmas, every birthday, I was like, that's all I want. You know, sending them random adverts of ponies and stuff like that. And yeah, they basically just said, like, because once I was driving, they were like, look, you can do it, but when you've got the money, because we don't want to, you know, we can't support that, because obviously they are expensive, and I understood that. So it was one of those things that I kind of was like, one day I just need to get the money together. And then yeah, when I left university the January before I bought B, and I had a little bit of leftover student loan. It sounds so bad. I had a bit of leftover loan, and obviously I wasn't going back. It was just going to sit there, and I was a bit like, pony. So I had a job lined up before I had left uni anyway, so I knew I would have a regular income. I had the money monthly, and obviously I had this bit to go, right, I haven't got a lot, I'm not going to buy a world beater, I'm not going to buy anything that's, you know, what people look for. You know, people look for the young, the show jumpers, the well-bred horses, and I was like, it's never going to be that. I don't have the budget for that. But I was lucky with B that obviously his advert popped up, and I did have, I think, a viewing lined up before I was meant to see B, and I kind of, you know, when you just have that feeling, and I just went, I just feel like B's going to be better. So I cancelled that viewing, was like, right, I want to go see B. And I remember the first time I got on, like, the first time I saw him, he was just this hairy, skinny little thoroughbred, and I was like, oh, he's so cute. And yeah, I think I got on, and he was very kind of tight, and, you know, just kind of pinned his head to his chest and did what he could, and he was so lazy, like, to keep him in trot. But again, he was so unfit and, you know, skinny, that I was like, oh, it's fine. And I remember the first time I jumped him again at the viewing, he couldn't jump, and it was just one of those things. I look back on all the videos and I'm kind of like, what did I see in him? Because he wasn't anything that, you know, most people would have overlooked him and just gone, no, I don't want a horse like that. But it was just one of those things that I got off him, and I was just grinning, and I was like, I just love him, like, he's just so sweet. And I was looking through all the videos all the time, and I was just like, he's just so cute. So I went back for a second viewing, and I was a lot more with my sensible head on this time, because I was like, right, you've seen him, you know, you've ridden him, you've had the excitable, my childhood dream is coming through, moment to coming true. So I was like, right, sensible head, is he what you actually want? And it was that whole thing again of, well, is he gonna do what I want to do, or is he not? And it was one of those things that I could see the potential in him, even though what I had in front of me, yeah, he was a skinny little hairy thoroughbred that couldn't jump and couldn't really do a lot. But I could feel in him that he wanted to do more, and that he was, you know, he had that kind of fire burning in him, that he was like, yeah, I want to continue. And I just was like, you know what, we'll give it a go. So I took him on trial for, I think it was the first month of having him. He was on trial to me because I spoke to his owner, who I actually knew her, funnily enough. And I said to her, I was like, look, I just want to see what he's like when he gets fit, because I was like, if he suddenly turns into a hot-headed thoroughbred, I was like, I don't know if I can cope with it. So I just said, I just want to get him fit, see how he is. I said, if it doesn't work out, then it benefits you, because he'll be more, you know, he'll be better for you than if it comes to the fact you have to sell him. But no, the moment he came, he wasn't going home. he was staying. He was just perfect from the moment he got off the lorry. He's just a dream, and he always has been. He's never, you know, he's had his moments, but don't they all? Like, he's just an absolute dream, and yeah, I should love him. So I was kind of like loosely looking, because I was like, I don't want to just buy one for the sake of buying one. I want to actually, you know, have that relationship and want to have one, and, you know, I didn't want to rush into it. So I was kind of loosely looking, and the one I cancelled the viewing on, it was one of those, it just seemed a little bit too good to be true. It was one of those kind of ones where it did everything I wanted it to. It did, you know, it was this big horse that could do all this amazing stuff, but it was kind of on the lower end of the scale for money wise. And I was just a bit like, you know, at least with B and his sale, it was very transparent. It was like, what he is what you get. You know, he's done this, but that was last year. So he's had a year out in the field, and, you know, it was very transparent. And I was just a bit like, well, you know, I'd rather buy through someone I know. And I think had he not come up, I think I probably wouldn't have a horse yet. Or I might have done by now, but at that point I wouldn't have had one, just because, like I said, I just wanted to make sure it was right. And I think, yeah, I am lucky that obviously B came up and that it was perfect, really.
And you said like he couldn't even jump, but like look at him now, you know?
I
He,
know.
oh my
This is the
God.
thing. There was me and my friend went to one of the local show kind of competition things. I think it was the end of the first lockdown. And I remember we were doing kind of Chase Me Charlie down this double, and we put it up, and it was huge. Like, any photo of it doesn't do it justice. I literally was going into it going, oh my God, that's massive. And B, like, and this was the first kind of moment that it fully clicked on the type of horse B is, because beforehand he had been quite, you know, all his confidence came from me, that if I pushed him for it, he'd do it. But if I sat there and was a potato, he'd be like, nah, you're right. But I remember taking him down this grid, and I was absolutely bricking it. I was like, oh my God, this fence is gigantic. I'm like, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. And I remember the first part, he jumped, and I just kind of squeezed him and went, okay, B. And he just literally hit autopilot and went, yeah, we're going. And I was like, whoa, okay. And he absolutely flew it. And there was no feeling like it. I was literally just, again, grinning. And me and my friend were just like, oh my God, he can jump. And I think this fence was about 1.30 m. It was huge.
Oh.
And I literally, God, like, it was terrifying, but just how he just kind of took over and went, yeah, we're doing this. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's amazing. And the fact that like that's how you know. Like the fact that you're not only giving him confidence, he's giving you confidence, and it's like
Yeah.
a push-pull kind of thing. It's like such a amazing relationship. And with my gelding, that's exactly what we have. And he's instilled the confidence that I needed to have to ride my mare now.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the funny part. It's like she's so respectful, and
Yeah.
you just need, she'll clear anything if you let her.
Oh,
Um,
yes,
this is the same case with you and B. Probably B probably trusted you or learned how to trust you. And yeah, it's just an amazing relationship. It's just so incredible to see like not only you, not only me have or kind of figure out that relationship, but to see every equestrian kind of portray that. And it's really cool. Was he did he know a lot when you bought him? You said he was at another home prior to the racing home. So
yeah.
was he green or was he?
He was kind of in the middle. Like, he obviously in racing he did national hunt, so that's hurdles, the big, hedge fences and all that. So he had jumped previously in racing, but his owner who had him previously, she did a lot of dressage and flat work, so he didn't really do any show jumping. I believe someone loaned him of something, and they started to jump him and kind of introduce it to him. So he had done a bit. I think the dressage he had done a bit, and he had actually qualified for a regional championships with his old owner, because he loves his dressage. He's so funny. You can tell when you put the dressage saddle on, he suddenly tucks his head in. He goes all smart and goes, oh yeah, I know what we're doing now. But yeah, he had done obviously a qualification there with them and done a bit of jumping. But when I bought him, and obviously he was kind of on the skinnier side and everything like that, I was just like, I just want to go right back to the start, and I want to like get to know him, learn how he wants to be ridden, because he is so sensitive. And this is the thing I say to people when they ride him. I'm just like, it is better to have no contact than to have too much contact. And you kind of just have to laugh. And like, I talk to him all the time when I'm riding, and I must look mad to most people, but he likes it. And the same way when I've had people riding before, I'm just like, just talk to him, like, just sing to him, chat to him, whatever you want to do, and he'll try his heart out for you, because he likes that reassurance of having someone there.
Yeah.
And he's just so precious. But yeah, he's done a fair bit. But yeah, I would say I kind of started him back at the beginning for both of our benefit. Because I would have just rather know what he's done kind of moving forward. So, and yeah, he was very green. Like, when I got him, he couldn't school for more than 15 minutes at a time because he was so unfit. And then I think the first time I did trot poles with him, he literally looked like the leg row, how high he was picking his legs up over the poles. And it's just little things like that I think it's helped his confidence in the long run, that he had that time to kind of go back to the beginning, make mistakes, learn what to do. And I think definitely it's helped.
That you brought him back and you like took the time to get to know him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. So the reason why you stood out to me um, is because, okay, so I believe that everybody has a story, whether they know it or not. You know, I have a disability and have been public speaking since I was 12 years old, but, you know, people that say have the littlest insecurity can create a story and create a message, or someone that's been abused or, you know, just everybody has their story and they can turn it into a message, a positive thing. And I think what stood out to me and what your message said, or one of your messages said, is that you kind of want things bad enough and then you make them happen. So you have a pretty hectic schedule, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously I currently work, well, initially I was working a different office job. I was doing software testing for a company, and obviously Corona hit and I ended up being furloughed and then made redundant 6 months later. So I've ended up, obviously I had a brilliant summer with B, and then obviously coming back into office work with my current job, I was just a bit like, I've now got to have a routine in place. I can't just wake up when I want, go down the yard when I want. Like, it's got to be in, like, you know, and B's not the easiest horse to keep in work. He can't really have days off. He thrives off of work, and I just find if he has days off, he goes nuts the next day when you bring him back. So I'm just like, he has to kind of do little and often, a bit every day. So yeah, I end up, I think every morning I'm up for 6, or you know, at the yard for just gone kind of, I normally aim to be at the yard for about 6:30 in the mornings. I then obviously do all my yard jobs, muck out, hay nets, everything like that. I then lunge B or ride him depending on how much time I have. I then have to obviously put him out, go home, really quickly get ready for work, be at work for about 8:30, 9. Then I go do a full day work there. I finish at 4 at the moment because where it's getting dark so early, we have to bring in our horses between 4 and 4:30. So I leave work at 4, bring in B, go back to work, finish off my hours, and then come home. And at the moment, I come home and edit, or I come home and film, or whatever kind of needs to be done. So it's been, Vlogmas has just been chaos, if I'm being honest. I've loved doing it and I've really enjoyed it, but it will be nice to go back to one video a week, because it has just been every night I'm like on my laptop doing stuff, and it is just, yeah, it is crazy. And then yeah, obviously at the weekends I'm helping back Lola, the little pony, at my yard, so that takes up even more time, and yeah, it's just chaos.
And the job is like to pay for B.
Yeah, so I do what do I do? What do I do? I work in advertisement and like graphic design.
Yeah.
So yeah, I work, yeah, 9 till, I work basically, yeah, like a 9 to 5, but I kind of, the 5 part varies because obviously I have to be at the yard for 4. But yeah, I just, you know, work full time Monday to Friday. But the type of job it is, it's one of those ones where, you know, you could have a really quiet Friday and then you might get called in on a Saturday. So some days, you know, I'll work late and I'll be in the office till like nearly 9 o'clock at night. Other days, you know, it might be, you know, I'm kind of hanging around from 2. It's one of those jobs that just comes in waves.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's obviously, yeah, all to financially support B.
God, that's amazing. And this is why, again, that I wanted to kind of interview you, because a lot of people share your situation, and if they don't, it's people, kids, teenagers that want to be able to afford a horse but think that it's completely out of the question. And you're going out, you're working, you're managing your schedule, you're paying for your horse by yourself, and if you really want it, you can make it happen. And
Yeah, it's definitely doable, and I think it just kind of it will kind of be one of those things of, it will tell you whether you really want it or not. And I feel like, you know, I do everything I can for B. He has so much stuff, like, he, whatever he needs he gets. If he needs like osteo, whether he needs dentist, feeds, rugs, you name it, I will work to give him that. And I think, like you say, it's that thing of, you know, people want it, but it's how much do they want it? You know, do they want the riding side of it and, you know, the kind of glamorous side of it, I guess. Whereas, you know, really in the reality of it, it's not like that. You know, about 20% of it is that. And I think it's, like you say, it's just whether people want to do that, if you know what I mean.
No, you bring up a really good point, and I didn't even think about this. It's people, if they really 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 want it, they're gonna figure out a way, like you do, to manage their schedule. It's like that determining factor.
Mm.
Once you have it, are you willing to keep up the busy schedule? And yeah.
Yeah, because it's definitely things I've seen where, you know, people have taken on horses at the wrong time, or they've taken on something that's too much for them, or, and again, that's the whole thing. Going back to when I bought B, I didn't want to rush and just buy a horse for buying a horse. I wanted something that was going to suit me, I would suit them, and that it was actually going to work out long term. But again, it's one of those things, you see it too often that people buy horses and then go, oh, it's too much, I don't want it anymore. And you know, it's like any other pet, with dogs, with cats, you don't buy it to have it for 6 months, you buy them to have them long term. And I understand horses, there is a level of buying and selling in them because of, you know, how that kind of works. But you know, you make a promise to them when you buy them that you're going to look after them and you're going to care for them. And that's the one thing I've always stood by with B, that he will never go anywhere. And I've always said, you know, when he says he's done, he's done. I'll never push him kind of past his enjoyment. You know, I want him to enjoy everything he does, and once it gets to the point he doesn't, then it will stop because I don't want him to ever feel like he has to do it, or, you know, it's not enjoyable for him.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely incredible. The fact that you the fact that you put him first, and that's like the most important thing to you, it seems. And you guys just do everything. You hack, you show jump, you know, you really are having the time of your life with him, and
Yeah.
it's just so inspiring. And yeah, besides the fact that you have your own schedule and that, you know, you made this happen for yourself, that goes to show that really anything is possible.
So I'm gonna, in the new year, kind of start his hacking again and start that from scratch. And kind of, hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I remember you saying that in like one of the vlogs. You said that he's like so energetic and so hyped up on the trails.
He is. Well, this is the thing. My I don't know whether you would have seen it, one of my recent videos, I took him for a gallop and he just went, and I couldn't hold him, and he just was like gone. And I actually had my Seaver device on his girth, and it registered, I didn't realize at the time, but it had actually registered his speed, and he was doing 43 miles an hour with me.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I know. I was reading it and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I knew it was fast, but I didn't realize it was that fast.
Is that the one where you went out with like your trainer or someone else, like jumping over?
A yard owner I went out with.
Yeah.
Because he's part of a hunt, and he's the one who I do kind of the more hunting stuff with, and
Yeah.
I think we both like going for gallops, so we kind of bring out the worst in each other in that sense. We'll both be like, come on, let's go for a run, let's go for a jump, let's
No, when the slow motion video came after, his stride was like huge. I was like, are you kidding me?
He has such a big stride when he hasn't forgotten his racing days at all. And it is on my bucket list with him. Before he retires, I'm going to take him to Lingfield Racecourse, which is one of the race courses in the UK, which I don't think he ever raced there, but you can hire it out. And I've always said I'm going to take him there and do a proper gallop around a race course, because I just think he would absolutely love it. And it would be so fun for me to experience that on him as well.
Please film that, because I'm sure not me would want to watch that. Oh my God.
No, definitely I will, because I'd love to do it, and I think he would really enjoy it too, but it would definitely be speedy, I'll say.
Listen, you guys have such an amazing bond, and like I said to Anna and to Alexis, it's like people are attracted to you because of your personality, but also like the connection that you have with the horses. But it's just incredible. Like, no wonder why you have so many people that support you. You guys are just having the time of your life, and it's just incredible to watch. And thank you for doing Vlogmas, because I'm sure that not only like in the UK, but I mean, people don't really go out to eat. And you know, I'm scrolling through things to look for and do on YouTube and watch.
Yeah.
One of my friends is doing Vlogmas too, and like it's just a nice kind of thing to like keep yourself busy at home.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is the thing with my Instagram and everything, it's all just kind of a big bit of fun. Like obviously, yeah, there's a side of it where I do brand deals and I do kind of the more business side, but it's the same with B. It's just fun, it's a hobby, it's something I enjoy, and I'm going to share that with people. And it's the same way, you know, when we have a bad day, I'll share that because I'm not ashamed of it. We all have bad days, you know, and I think it's sometimes just funny to watch, you know, look back on. I know there was one of my videos that I think got on the explore page because I did get a bit of hate on it. But it was, I think I was doing a grid and B ducked out of the last fence. And I just thought it was funny because he was just being cheeky. He didn't want to jump the tires and he just went, no, I'm not doing that. And I took him back round, he flew over it. And again, it's the whole thing of, you know, you get people that comment and leave little kind of digs at you. But I just was like, unless you want to ride him, I was like, you're welcome to come and give it a go. Because I was like, you don't know me, you don't know my horse. You know, you can't make a judgment on what you see online. And yeah, and I think especially in obviously this current time and how this year's gone, I just thought, you know, doing Vlogmas, it's almost just like having a mate, as stupid as that sounds like. And that's what, again, I want my vlogs to be. I don't want to be someone that, you know, takes it all very seriously and, you know, oh, B's done this and I can't, you know, I can't share that. You know, like I want it to be fun and entertaining. And yeah, when people watch my vlogs, they almost feel like they're watching a mate. And like, and that's one of my things with my Instagram. As I've grown, I've always made sure that I interact with my followers and that I talk to them. And you know, that's a big part of it for me. I love having that community aspect, that people feel like they can talk to me, not that I'm this big scary like person. And you know, and that's the bit I enjoy. I love just talking to people and hearing about them and hearing about their stories and their ponies and what they got up to. And it's just really nice.
I wanted to talk to you about like one other thing too. I was just, you know, doing research because I knew I was going to interview you, and I scrolled on one of your Instagram posts, speaking of your followers, that you asked them, you know, to leave what they were struggling with in the comments or whatever. And then you brought up a really good point that you mentioned you don't know people's struggles, and even if they don't have the best seat, even if they, you know, struggle with their hands while riding, like you don't know, like so talk to me about that a little bit, because I think that was super inspirational and a public, like kind of a really really well put public service announcement.
Yeah, I just think like, and I've seen it a lot, like one of my closest friends on here, you probably have followed her name Miss Crazy Maisie. She's got a crazy cob and I know she especially has an awful lot of hate, and just people who don't know her, they don't know Maisie, and they look at it and go that she's dangerous, she's this. And you know, last year she had a really horrible video made about her that was posted on YouTube, and just things that, you know, as a friend sitting by and watching that, I was just, it's just horrible. And you know, I, again, like I said, I always want to have that relationship with my followers that they feel like they can talk to me. And yeah, I think I put something on my story and just was like, you know, let me know how your day's been. If it's been bad, let's talk about it. If it's been good, let's talk about it. Like, let's just have a chat, have a catch up. And you know, and yeah, like you say, there were quite a few comments of people struggling for various different reasons. A lot of it was kind of like lockdown related, but yeah, some of it ranged from, you know, just a bad day and to more personal things. And you know, I chatted with them all night, and I think, you know, I probably didn't help that much, but just having someone to talk to, I feel like can sometimes help.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just wanted to put something on my Instagram when I did, obviously, I think it was the following day, just saying, like you say, you know, you never know what goes on in people's lives. Like looking at these people's accounts, you wouldn't think anything more than they have a great life, they go out with their ponies, they do this, they do that. when, you know, that I wouldn't have a clue any of that was going on in any of their lives if I hadn't, obviously they hadn't reached out to me. And I just think there's this common thing of, you know, because you're behind your screen, you can leave these horrible comments, and it's a screen, it's an account, it doesn't mean anything. But I feel like people forget that a person is reading those, and again, you don't know how they are mentally, you don't know what they're struggling with, you know, you don't know what's going on with their lives. And it's the same thing with a lot of times, and I've had it when people critique my riding and I just laugh at it now, I don't get upset by it, but it's things that, you know, and I know I've had it before where I'll post a video or a photo knowing I'm self-conscious about something in that video. Like a lot of, I think it was like early last year, I was having problems with my back, and I was like, as I was folding, I was curling my back, and in every sense I hated it, I absolutely hated how my back looked, but I was just like, you know, I'm posting it because I think B looks nice, but you know, it was just, I knew in my head if people started mentioning that, I'd be like, oh God, like, I know. And it's just, you know, for me, I kind of was just like, oh, hopefully people won't notice. But, you know, that's just that, unfortunately. But yeah, you do get it a lot. And I've seen it so much at the moment of just people coming at people because they've not got their heels down and they've not got their hands forward. And this is the thing, again, I've had, because you might have seen it, these stag jumps when he's kind of unsure, he leaps like a proper racehorse. And I have got better at sitting at it, but I used to really struggle to sit to it, and I would always give with my reins, I'd let them slide through my hands, but obviously he would still bring his head up and open his mouth and stuff like that. And obviously, yeah, from a photo, you'd look at that and go, oh my God, she's pulling him in the mouth and all this stuff. And the amount of comments I got of just like, just give him your reins. And I'm like, he's got my reins. I haven't got any more reins to give. And it's, you know, and I just think that was my whole point with that post, was just to get people to hopefully take a step back and think before they leave messages. And for the people that, you know, like not everyone who is struggling is going to message, you know, an account on Instagram and go, hey, can you chat? You know, they're going to bottle it up and, you know, ultimately struggle even more with it. So that's why as well I left a lot of resources on that post, so that people felt like if they couldn't talk to anyone they knew or anyone in kind of real life as such, they had phone numbers and different chat options that they could get it off their chest and, you know, help themselves with it.
That's really amazing of you. Like, you are just such a genuine person, and I'm so happy that I got to talk to you. And same thing, like the other day I rode bridleless with my gelding, and my right leg, my entire right side is very stiff, so I have increased muscle tone from the accident. If you touch like my tendon in my arm, it feels like a guitar string, like it's that tight. And same with my ankle, so I don't have the proper heel strike, and my leg was just swinging so much in that video, but it was about Ziggy and me like taking off the bridle for the second time, and him being such a doll. And yeah, it's just amazing. And like you said, with the comments online and everything, but it's more about, you know, the equestrian themselves, and it's more about like having that connection with that horse. So my mare, again, she bucked me the first day, but if you get to know them and if you establish that connection like emotionally between you guys, anything is possible. I've only jumped over 3 foot once, but I just started 3 years ago, so it's just the fact that I could do that and she won't buck me because she knows the person I am. It just goes to show you that it's not about necessarily your heel position. You can make anything happen and everything. And you do that with B, and you have a platform and you're using it so well. You're using your voice that you established so incredibly well, and it's just amazing to watch. And you know, keep doing you and keep doing your Instagram and your YouTube, and oh my gosh, I'm a fan.
Thanks. Yeah, well, like you said with, you know, your point about, you know, keeping your heels down and bouncy seats and all that, I think, and this is the thing again, I've kind of had to learn with B, that he's never going to tuck his legs up and make a perfect jump over a fence. And, you know, he does a Superman impression every now and again, and I think it's so sweet. And you know, even when they're big fences, he'll stick a front leg out and be like, woo. But like, I've always kind of just laughed at it and been like, you know what, if he goes around clear, what's there to complain about?
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and even if he didn't go around clear, he's done his best and he's just doing what he's learned. And it's the same with, I think, as a rider, yeah, it's all a learning curve, and there's going to be times where, yeah, you'll look at your riding and go, ooh, I don't know about that, but you then know next time I'll focus on that. And it's all, I think people forget to look at where they've started. I think people get so hung up in what they want to be rather than the journey that they've taken to become the rider they are. And I think, you know, I think there's so many amazing riders. Like on my Instagram, I follow so many incredible people that, you know, and you see it a lot where people put in the caption, be like, oh, ignore this, ignore my riding, ignore this. It's like, be proud of it. You can, you know, when you first started, you probably couldn't have done that, and you're doing it now and you're doing it well. So, you know, it's just taking pride in what you do and, you know, not
Yeah.
letting people get you down.
Yeah, and like you said about like not being able to have a top show jumper because of the financial thing, like you don't need that. As long, I mean, they don't have to have a perfect jump, but as long as they're clear, like you said, like Harry and Snowman, I don't know if you've seen that documentary on,
Yeah.
yeah, on Netflix, and you know, he got him for, I think it was like $18 from the kill pen, or for his riding students, but then he like jumped the fence like 5 times, and it was like a 6 foot fence. And I think Harry was like, oh man, this horse can jump, let me see what I could do with him. And you know, it's just so incredible what horses are capable of, like
Mhm.
emotionally too. Like
Yeah,
they
definitely.
they make us into such happier human beings.
Mm. No, they do. They are just amazing animals.
Well, Ella, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're so inspiring. You're so positive. It was so nice to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great. Honestly, it's been so nice being able to speak to you and meet you, I guess, online. I don't it's so strange, isn't it? But yeah, no, it's been so lovely to speak to you.
Thank you so much. Your story is like so inspirational. And, you know, like I said, a lot of people are in the same situation, but, you know, you prove that you can rise above it.